The music tells you it's time for the news.
Exciting.
Finally entering the last stages, I think, of holiday season, at least for this week. Constitution Day. Are we celebrating Constitution Day today or what?
I get a bit confused with the holidays this time of year. This is the 3rd of May, the Constitution Day, the big one. Yeah, this is the big one, famous one, the historical Constitution of 1791.
Well, very good, Dave. Yeah, if you don't know, Constitution Day, very big deal here. Call it this equivalent of July 4th. That's Independence Day. We had that too. What's the equivalent in America or in Canada and UK? Is there an equivalent? I don't know. It's Constitution Day.
You both love constitutions. That's not
Constitution. Anyway, second oldest constitution in the world after USA.
Yeah. Am I correct?
America. Yeah. It is a day off. In the last episode about the news, we talked about how everybody's off this week. Nobody's doing anything. And because of Labor Day on May 1st, Constitution Day on May 3rd, squeezed in between those is Flag Day, actually. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh yes, Flag Day. I think that only started the year I came to Poland or the year before.
It's not like 15 years ago, 13, something like that. Flag Day just started. Josh, what do you know about Flag Day? I know this is one of your favorite holidays.
As I understand it, actually, it's kind of a fudge because, strictly speaking, you're not supposed to display a Polish flag when it isn't a national holiday. But with a national holiday on the 1st of May and one on the 3rd of May, rather than kind of prosecute people for neglecting to take their flags down for the day in between, they kind of fudged this Flag Day holiday, which isn't actually a holiday, it's just a celebration, in between the 1st and the 3rd, so that you're not obliged to take your flag down.
So you can keep it up for 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds strange.
Oh, it's pragmatic, I think, isn't
it? What do you think about the Polish flag, Dave?
But the Polish flag, yeah. I thought we were going to continue to discuss Constitution Day.
I'm going back to that, but it just popped into my head. I'm going to get...
I don't know. I just got a bit nervous here because I don't want to sound insulting at all.
I'm going to get threats and hate for this, but I got to say, Polish flag, little too simple for my taste.
All right. Okay, so you said it, so I don't have to say it. So I love the Polish flag. I can't believe you would slander it in such a manner. I was not going to say the exact same thing, not in any circumstance at all.
Come on. I mean, I know I'm treading in dangerous territory here, but it's at least Irish flag is not much better. You got 3 stripes. I mean, but Poland's got 2.
You know what bugs me when you get this seems to happen a lot in this area of the world. You've got the flag, which is just 2 horizontal stripes, but then sometimes you see the flag hanging from a government building, etc. I'm sure that's the reason, and then it has the emblem in the middle as well. Yeah. And it's like, just have one flag, dude. You know, how hard is it?
I think the one with the eagle is for certain diplomatic purposes,
so
ceremonial purposes,
buildings, etc. But still, it still kind of annoys me. You know, just one flag. Just keep it simple.
Here's the weird thing for me: is how strange is it when your flag is shared by 2 other countries? Indonesia and Monaco have the same flag. How unique are you when you're one of 3 countries with the same flag?
Well, the Indonesian flag is the same colours but reversed.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
And it's the exact same in Ireland with Côte d'Ivoire, as I believe they insist on being called now. They don't like the
you've got the orange and the green reversed, I guess, right?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So a quick glance, you could be mistaken for Ivory Coast.
And often are, yes. It's led to many mistakes down the years. People putting the wrong thumbnails on, say, website articles, etc.
Ireland's shameful legacy of the slave trade.
Josh, quick answer. Coolest European flag?
Oh, Union Jack, without a doubt.
Dave?
The tricolour?
You're both wrong. It's Macedonia, actually. Macedonia, easily the coolest.
I don't want to lose my passport, dude. I'm going to drink it in
followed closely by Albania. But let's go back to Constitution Day. There's something we see in the media quite a bit on Constitution Day. There's a famous painting by Jan Matejko, who, if you don't know, is fair to say the biggest Polish painter. Is that fair, Josh? Yeah. I'll defer to Josh on this.
In Krakow, he's a legend.
He's everywhere. His name's everywhere, as it should be, but he's a big deal here. Very big deal.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's kind of responsible for the biggest kind of most well-known kind of commemorative paintings of some of the standout events in Polish history. And, of course, possibly the painting of his that's most well known, not just in Poland but even around the world, is the legendary Stanchik painting, which is this rather miserable looking jester slumped in a seat while he listens to the king and court apparently celebrating their impending doom, I think, is they're partying regardless of the enemy at the gate.
I love the Matejko paintings, the huge epic scale paintings, some kind of military battles or momentous moments. Can I say that?
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
a tableau, yeah.
In Polish history, like the signing of the Constitution, these things are like 5 meters long, 3 meters high, something like that. But they're really busy.
Yeah.
They're really busy. Characters and allegories and references that I don't get. Am I alone in this?
Well, I mean, back in those days, if you were a serious painter and you'd been trained, then there were a whole series of kind of themes and motifs and rules that you might use. And if you were presenting some kind of historical event, then in addition to the identifiable main characters, kings, generals, whatever, you would have certain kind of depictions kind of intended to convey maybe some particular character or essence of what the occasion or the country or the national spirit was all about. And the painters would, this was not unique with Matejko, but I mean, I think he was the outstanding example in Polish art of the 19th century anyway.
Yeah, I think in the Constitution painting, there are something like 35 or 40 identified historical figures in the painting, and some others that are in dispute, I guess. I mean, come on.
I'm sure a Polish person would know who the ice cool looking dude with his foot on the step who just seems to be staring off into the middle ground is. But yeah, he's my favourite.
Well, of course, we didn't have photographs in those days.
So it was important. Yeah.
It was a historical record. Yeah.
I suppose that would have made going to an art gallery a hell of a lot more interesting as well. If you were seeing your first visual depiction of a great battle or something, you can see where they were tempted into painting along those lines. But one thing I think we didn't really cover when we talked about Constitution Day is the pride Polish people have in that Constitution, is because it's seen as, by political scientists, etc., as a very progressive document, a very far-sighted, liberal type of declaration of how its people should live. Would you agree with that, John?
I suppose it's also a symbol of Polish self-governance, and especially it comes at the time of the right before the partitions, and
it didn't last long.
did not work out well at the time.
Events did not unfold too favourably for Poland.
But it was very progressive for its time.
Did you see the giant flag, John?
I heard about it. 1 meter.
2 kilometers.
1 meter. 2 kilometers. Wow, it was huge. 2 kilometers, like one flag.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
I saw the pictures taken from a drone, probably.
That's what I saw as well. I wasn't going to walk all the way up the square to see a flag.
It stretched from the top of Florianska all the way down to the Rinnik, through the Rinnik, and at least part of the way down Grodzka. Is that possible?
But this is what you just said, and I'm assuming you Googled it, so yeah, it is possible.
Well, I didn't look that carefully. I was impressed, but I didn't see it myself. Anybody see it? Nobody?
No.
It's a giant flag. There's not a huge amount to say about a giant flag, but it was cool.
And we often talk about things we haven't seen ourselves, too. So.
Yeah.
One person who's not in the... one more thing about Constitution Day. One person who's not in that painting is Jimi Hendrix. Even though he does have a connection to Constitution Day, interesting bit in the news in Wrocław. They set a Guinness World Record. I think they broke their own record. Number of people playing Hey Joe at the same time.
It was just a beautiful thing to see.
It's 7,000.
411, I think, yeah.
7,000. Josh, you're a guitarist. Do you have 7,000 guitars to kind
of? No, I don't.
And I bet they couldn't play the solo to All Along the Watchtower the way you can, my man. Absolute face melter.
No comment.
Josh, give us a quick review of Hendrix. Legend or overrated?
Oh, I think legend, absolutely.
Favorite track?
Well, yeah, favorite track, All Along the Watchtower, without a doubt. But that's kind of so much a given. I would probably add, I know, Foxy Lady or.
Oh yeah. Remember in the Wayne's World, he was probably the best usage of a classic rock song ever.
Speaking of,
what's your favorite Hendrix track?
My favorite Hendrix track, I'm going to go with Castles Made of Sand.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah.
I'm going to go a little deeper here, or Fire.
Fire. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say Fire.
I think that the Purple Haze, Are You Experienced, even Hey Joe, little too much radio play. I've heard it too many times.
Well, Hey Joe is kind of a pop song rather than kind of a Hendrix. Yeah.
It is a classic though. 4 a.m, all the boys turn it up, a few cans, arms around the shoulder. It's his one kind of like Hey Joe is a real anthem. Like you sing along to it rather than say some of his other guitar-based tracks.
The question of legend or overrated is the same question we can ask about.
Can't
our
believe
next
you
topic
asked it
here.
about Jimi Hendrix.
What?
Can't believe you asked it about Jimi Hendrix.
There are people who say, okay.
Well, no,
I
mean, if you give me a couple of seconds more, I mean, technically, he's not. You know, there are people who have far greater, shall we say, technical ability and can do more. But I think more to the point is the electric guitar was not a very old instrument when he came to prominence.
Yes.
He absolutely took that instrument and redefined what you could do with that sound.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't anybody who's made that much difference to that extent in such a short period of time, that early on in an instrument's history.
Well, the short period of time is key. He's part of the 27 Club, right? Hendrix, and 3 albums, I think, 3 studio albums.
Yeah, apart from, and that maybe is what some fans get a little bit cheesed off of. I know I made the mistake young in my music buying career that I didn't know that Jimi Hendrix had signed 1,400 contracts with people he shouldn't have, and there's an awful lot of badly produced non-Hendrix music out there. Yeah. He only has 3 albums.
Of songs,
as you
3
say.
albums,
Yeah.
that's right. As I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, the question of legend or overrated can also be asked of our next topic, Roman Polanski.
Ooh.
Yes.
He's in the news. Dave, why is he in the news this week?
Well, he's in the news for a couple of reasons. I think he's appearing in Poland this week. But the one that caught my eye is that him and Mr. Cosby have been turfed out of the Academy.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, I believe it's for all of the raping.
That tends to get you kicked out of Academy.
Eventually,
although
after
it took,
many
40
years.
years for almost 50 years for Polanski, so not such a delay for Cosby.
I haven't seen Chinatown. I didn't like The Pianist, actually. I thought it was very dull, very slow movie. I didn't really like it. Didn't really like Rosemary's Baby. The Ghost was okay. I mean, Josh,
Yeah.
do you think he's a great director? I admit I haven't seen Chinatown, so that's a bad, my bad.
Well, I think Chinatown is definitely one of the great kind of noir type films, although in a way it's a kind of homage because it was already much later than the classic noir era. Rosemary's Baby, great. Repulsion, Macbeth. I mean, the 60s films, good. Now I think he makes good films, but I don't think he's a great director. I didn't enjoy The Pianist that much, but I have seen. There's Carnage, is a great kind of like sort of interior piece from a couple of years ago, which is basically 4 actors kind of all kind of talking, and it's very good. But as a great, nobody gets excused the kind of behaviour that gets you kicked out.
Yeah, well, that's another subject for another day. But I'm going to lead towards overrated. I think he's been coasting on Chinatown for 40 some years, and was it 50 years with Chinatown, like 72, 74?
74, yeah.
So 40 plus years, I think very much overrated.
Take that, Roman.
Yeah.
Ow.
Exactly.
We don't like your morals or your movies. Sling your hook.
Beautiful weather this week. Sunshine, 27 degrees, fantastic, perfectly timed to go with the holiday. And one of the consequences of this is that people hit the mountains, the Tatras mountains, in their thousands and thousands and thousands. And I saw this in the news the other day. A couple of people broke bones, like broke a leg up on a mountaintop, had to be rescued. Okay. You can't fault them for that, but sometimes people have to be rescued because they do stupid things. They get caught in the place where they can't get out of. In the winter, skiers go where they shouldn't go, and we have to spend tons of money to go pick them up and bring them back. Very roundabout way of asking, should we send them the bill for this, or is this our duty as a community, as a society, to help each other out?
I've always wondered, John, did you grow up near the beach in Florida? Everything's near the beach in Florida, yeah?
I did.
If you were drowning and a lifeguard saved you, would you expect a bill at the end of that? You're stung by a stingray, say, none of your own fault, you're flailing around, usually everything's okay, you get caught by a riptide.
Isn't that an act of God as opposed to, crossing over a line that says do not go, do not cross this line, don't climb this rock.
You're still
don't
arrogant enough to have assumed you could take on mankind's largest and most dynamic body, the ocean.
Okay, how much does it cost for the lifeguard to jump in and save me versus the cost of scrambling some chopper from a rescue center, God knows where?
Well, most of the guys are volunteers, and I think you're being a little bit harsh. Poland's national parks are beautiful respite from the fact that it's quite a heavily populated country. That's why Poles use them so heavily. They love their national parks. They love to get out in the weather. They're sensible people. I'm sure
nobody's arguing that.
I'm sure the rates of rescue are no higher than in any other EU state, and I guarantee you the people don't get paid as much doing it. So I'm sure I met a mountain rescue guy in Zakopane, and he told me he didn't get paid. We'd have to check that
somebody
out.
paid for the helicopter.
Okay, helicopters do cost money, yes.
Yeah.
And probably purchased from an American company helping your GDP.
This always comes back to me, doesn't it? It's always my fault, somehow.
Well, you're the one that threw, the question out there. Josh, what do you think? Should people be rescued and then presented with a bill?
Well, I mean, it costs at some point,
I'm outnumbered.
Somebody's got to pay for it.
Yeah.
If the individual doesn't pay for it, then it gets soaked up by the taxpayer. There may come a point if we were in a situation where taxes were unbearably high and people were struggling to make ends meet, and you're thinking, well, hold on, why are we spending so much money on, drunk idiots throwing themselves accidentally off cliffs?
Are you guys big mountaineers anyway? Are you mountain people?
Well, obviously, I've climbed most of the No.
No, I don't. I'm having trouble imagining you on the.
Why would you go up there in
peaks.
30-degree heat? It's lovely in the winter, don't get me wrong. It's nice in the early
People
spring.
love it though. Come on, it's crawling with people now.
Yeah. I've been up there, on a hike on a 30-degree day. It's not pleasant.
Once was enough?
Yeah, once was enough. Only because I'm not into that type of stuff. It's absolutely stunning up in the Tatras Mountains. If you've never been...
Dave has seen pictures.
I go all the time. I just don't do stuff.
The reason why God invented cameras.
Yeah, and bars.
How about winter skiers? Are you skiers?
No.
The only time I went skiing, I got a bit overconfident on the first day and ended up breaking 3 or 4 of my ribs by going up to a slope I wasn't ready for. It's very fun, but it's dangerous, people. Yeah, watch yourself out there. After my dislocated shoulder problems, I decided to retire.
Retired from skiing.
I retired from skiing, yeah. Yeah, people were devastated.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Swish.
Last thing we want to talk about in the news this week, it's about gangsters, and I thought we'd turn this over to our resident gangster, Dave, to explain.
Well, a story caught my eye in The Guardian. I don't know, have you seen these movies, John? The Pitbull movies?
I saw one of them.
Yeah, well, I haven't actually seen any of them. I'd been told
They're good. I like them.
It's a spin-off from a TV series, isn't it?
Yeah, the director is that guy Vega. He's huge. He's always releasing movies. He releases a lot of the movies from Phoenix Films anyway, which is
Well, they're very commercially successful.
Yeah, Natalia,
maybe not critically successful.
My wife really went to see Botox last year. That was hugely popular. Botox. That was one of their movies as well. But anyway, the thrust of this story is that Poland's, shall we say, lower end of the film market. These are not considered art house movies, but they're doing a raging business in the UK and Ireland because, there's such a large Polish population there. They want to see a movie in Polish. It's a novelty to go down to the local multiplex and sit there and watch a movie, even if it isn't, shall we say, up to the level of Kieślowski or.
But you reckon this is only Poles going to see these movies?
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. They're not even covered by the British press. You wouldn't see a review of Pitbull in the media. This is kind of that's what's amazing about it. They're flying under the radar and doing huge numbers just because of word of mouth in the Polish community.
Well, I kind of had the feeling that the suggestion was that they were kind of culturally crossing over.
Well, now the likes of, say, Ida and the other art house Polish movies certainly do. They're always well regarded at film festivals around the world, the Academy Awards, etc. But no, these are a different subgenre, I would say. Gangster movies, but not The Godfather, more
Yeah, they're sort of like Polish Fast and Furious series.
Yeah, these are like the Polish Steven Seagal type movies.
Yeah. Now, I would say, God help us, late Guy Ritchie or Nick Love.
Late Guy Ritchie. What does that mean?
That means gangster movies, but nowhere near as good as Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Right, or Snatch.
Yeah. People get murdered a lot, I think, in these films in stylish ways.
And frequently.
So you reckon there's no chance for, again, some kind of crossover for something more, not necessarily lowbrow, but something, mass market oriented from Poland? It's all going to be artsy stuff?
Well, they might land a TV show on the likes of, say, BBC4 with the subtitles. My wife has been watching a show called Pact, which is produced with HBO. really looks the part. I missed the first episode, so I was only kind of dipping in and out. It's a political thriller along the lines of, it goes right to the top. But very slickly produced, very well made. I've no doubt in the next few years, one of those Polish HBO produced shows will go over the top and end up making an impact.
Do either of you remember, I'm dating myself here, but do you remember a show, it was a co-production, I don't remember which networks were involved on either side, but it was a show called London Chitsy. It was about Polish immigrants to London.
Vaguely, yeah.
And it was meant to be broadcast on UK television as well. Again, I don't know what channel. And, proper budget, proper marketing, and as far as I know, they may have got to the end of the first season before it was kind of canceled out. No ringing any bells, no?
No.
It's cringe-worthy. It's toe-curlingly horrible.
It's not good, no?
No, it got cancelled. So
big shout out to that. Then. Yeah, Packed looked the business though. I'll have to maybe we'll review it. What we're getting into this whole reviewing Polish movies and TV shows.
There's a lot of stuff out there. Yeah.
There is a lot of stuff out there. It's a whole brave new world for us.
You've been listening to the KrakCast, and if you've enjoyed it and you'd like to hear more interesting things and perhaps even have an interesting story of your own that you'd like to share with us, why not put a message on our Facebook page or contact us privately, and if we think it'll be interesting, we'll talk about it and maybe even put it in a future episode.